You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius.
In a world overflowing with distractions, opinions, and noise, finding clarity is a rare luxury. Whether it's the relentless hum of social media, the anxiety of chasing success, or the subtle pressure to fit in, most people never find the space to truly understand themselves. But what if you could silence that noise? What if, instead of being pulled in every direction, you could stand still in the storm calm, focused, and undisturbed? This is not about detachment or emotional suppression. It's about clarity. It's about the deep, transformative calm that Stoicism offers, an ancient philosophy not meant for ivory towers, but for warriors of the everyday world. Stoicism is not for the weak-hearted. It is a system built by emperors, warriors, slaves, and poets, men and women who faced more suffering in a day than most do in a year, yet remained unshaken. Let's begin with Part 1. Part 1, the control principle: you own nothing but your mind. At the heart of Stoicism lies one simple, often overlooked principle: control what you can, ignore what you cannot. It sounds simple. It is not. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, taught that freedom begins the moment we understand that our thoughts, beliefs, and actions are the only things within our control. Everything else, whether wealth, opinions, health, even relationships, are ultimately external. Why does this matter? Because nearly every modern anxiety comes from confusing externals with internals. We worry about how others perceive us, whether our career will take off, if the economy will crash, if our partner will leave us. But the Stoic asks, is this within my control? If not, then I must let it go. Imagine a man whose house burns down. Most would panic, cry, scream at the sky. The Stoic mourns the loss, but calmly. He does not suffer twice. The house was never truly his. Only his reactions were. This doesn't mean apathy. It means absolute ownership over one's inner world. Example 1, Viktor Frankl in the Holocaust. In a Nazi concentration camp, Viktor Frankl, though not a Stoic philosopher, embodied this truth. Stripped of all possessions, dignity, and freedom, he discovered one final human freedom: the ability to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. He realized that while everything can be taken from a man, the last of his freedoms, his inner world, remains untouched unless he gives it away. Example 2, Marcus Aurelius in Plague and War. The Emperor Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome during plague, betrayal, and endless war. His meditations, never meant for publication, are filled with reminders: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Despite being the most powerful man on earth, he knew the limits of his control and directed his energy inward. The inner fortress. Stoicism teaches you to build an inner fortress. Every time you recognize an external event as beyond your control and redirect your focus to your reaction, you lay another brick. In time, you become untouchable, not because life stops throwing chaos at you, but because you stop flinching. Application, the daily practice of discernment. 1. Begin each day with a 2-minute meditation. What is within my control today? What is not? 2. Carry a journal. When anxiety strikes, ask, is this truly mine to control? 3. End each day with reflection. Where did I react poorly? Where did I hold my power? Closing thought for Part 1. If you truly want to silence the noise, you must first silence the lie that you control the world. You don't. You only control how you meet it. And that, the Stoic says, is enough. In Part 2, we'll tackle perhaps the most uncomfortable truth of all: how to face pain, and why the Stoic sees pain not as the enemy, but as a teacher. Stay with us. Part 2. In the first part, we confronted the outer world. The endless noise, the distractions, the meaningless chatter. We realized that in order to hear the voice of reason, we must first silence everything else. But now we turn inward, where the real struggle begins. This is where the Stoic path often loses most people. They come for calm, but are driven away by hardship. Because Stoicism does not remove pain, it redefines it. It doesn't numb us to reality, it sharpens our senses to face it directly. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the curriculum. In this second part, we dive into one of the most confronting Stoic truths, that pain is the greatest teacher. And once understood, truly understood, it becomes one of our greatest allies. 1. The Stoic position on pain. For Stoics, pain is neither good nor bad. It simply is. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it's endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. If it's unendurable, then stop complaining." The same. Seneca put it another way. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Pain is a signal, not a punishment. It's raw data from the world. When interpreted through wisdom, it teaches. When reacted to emotionally, it destroys. 2. Epictetus and the slave's shackles. No one exemplifies stoicism in pain more than Epictetus. Born a slave. Crippled by a master who twisted his leg until it broke. He didn't scream. He didn't fight. He simply said, "You're going to break it." Then it broke. He turned that pain into the beginning of a lifelong commitment to philosophy. He taught others that it's not pain that hurts us, it's the opinion we form about pain. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. In your pain, are you broken or awakened? 3. Modern reflections, Viktor Frankl and the camps. We don't need to stay in ancient Rome to find examples. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, faced unimaginable suffering. But from the camps, he wrote, "Suffering ceases to be suffering the moment it finds a meaning." He developed logotherapy, a method of healing through meaning. He didn't say pain was good. He said pain was revealing. Pain shows us who we are when the masks fall away. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. What Frankl rediscovered in Auschwitz is what Epictetus taught in a Roman slave house: pain doesn't define you. Your response does. 4. Pain as a sculptor. Imagine a block of marble. Pain is the sculptor's chisel. Harsh, yes. Brutal even. But every strike, every cut, it removes what is not essential. If you do not resist it, pain shapes you. Seneca again. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. You want strength? Don't chase comfort. Chase challenge. Don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. You must begin to ask different questions. Not why me, but what can this teach me? 5. Emotional pain, the modern arena. It's not just broken bones or harsh environments. Today, most pain is psychological. Rejection. Betrayal. Failure. And yet the Stoic principle remains. It's not the thing, it's your judgment of the thing. Suppose someone insults you. Pain rushes in. But why? Is it the sound of their words? No. It's your belief that they've touched something true. Let them insult. You remain unshaken. As Marcus Aurelius advised. Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been. But that's not about suppression. Stoicism is not about burying pain. It's about dissecting it. Understanding it. Then letting it go. 6. Turning pain into power, practical application. This is not just philosophy. You can live this. Practice 1. Voluntary discomfort. Deliberately walk through the cold. Eat less. Sleep on the floor. Say no to luxury. Why? Because if you choose discomfort in small doses, you build the muscle to handle it in larger ones. Seneca fasted. He wore rough clothing. He called it rehearsal for misfortune. Practice 2. The view from above. Imagine yourself from a satellite's perspective. Now imagine the pain you're feeling. How small is it really? What's its half-life? Will it matter in a year? Practice 3, Pain Journal. Every time you suffer, write what you learned. Not what happened, not how it hurt, but what it taught you. Transform it. Give it form. 7 examples, lives turned by pain. Nelson Mandela, 27 years in prison, yet emerged not bitter but wise. He said, "I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison." Malala Yousafzai, shot in the head by the Taliban, she chose not revenge, but to become a global advocate for education. Bethany Hamilton lost her arm to a shark as a teenager. Returned to surfing professionally and became a symbol of courage. These aren't fictional heroes. They lived. And they were shaped, not shattered, by pain. 8. Pain and purpose. You must realize. You don't get to choose your pain. But you do choose your path. If you waste pain, you suffer twice. Once in the experience, again in the regret. But if you use pain, you transform it. The Stoics were not in love with suffering. They were in love with clarity. And pain clears away all that is false if you let it. So, when pain visits, ask not how do I escape this, but how do I use this? 9. Final thought, the second fire. There's a fire that burns you and a fire that forges you. Your job is not to avoid the fire. It's to step into the right one. Pain is not the enemy. It is the second fire. The one that gives you form. The one that tempers your softness into strength. Will you allow it? Transition tease for part 3, Control and Chaos. Now that we've faced pain, we must face something even more deceptive, the illusion of control. In part 3, we'll confront what we can and cannot command, and learn the Stoic art of surrendering without giving up. Keep watching. Because silence is not the absence of pain, it's what remains when you stop running from it. Part 3, Control and Chaos, Mastering the Two Realms. Introduction to Part 3. You've silenced the world. You've walked through pain. Now we arrive at the fork in every human journey. What is mine to command, and what must I release? The Stoics divided the world into two distinct realms, the controllable and the uncontrollable. But most people live in a third realm, the imaginary one, where they try to control everything, and suffer constantly. This part is a confrontation. Not with fate. Not with others. But with your own illusion of control. 1. The central Stoic divide. Epictetus opened his Enchiridion with this line. Some things are up to us and some are not. That's the line between sanity and madness. Between suffering and peace. What is up to us? Our thoughts. Our choices. Our actions. Our responses. What is not? Other people. The past. The weather. Death. Fortune. Health, to a degree. Your entire power lies in one thing, how you respond. 2. The futility of control. Look around, people try to control what others think of them. They try to control the future. They try to control outcomes they only influence partially, like getting a promotion or winning a competition. And when they fail, they suffer. But the suffering isn't from the event. It's from the expectation of control. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. We waste it on control fantasies. You cannot control the ocean. But you can control your sail." That is Stoicism. 3. The modern chaos, news, trends, and the myth of influence. Modern life is a factory of chaos. Constant updates, political outrage, financial panic. Social media gives the illusion of being able to change everything with a tweet or a post. But it's not power. It's noise. Marcus Aurelius would likely have written, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Ask yourself, can I do something directly about this? If not, why am I emotionally invested in it? You're not a reactor. You're a commander of your own mind. 4. The dichotomy of control in daily life. Let's bring it down to ground level. You cannot control if someone cuts you off in traffic. You can control whether you chase them with rage or let them pass. You cannot control your partner's mood. You can control how lovingly or wisely you respond. You cannot control being rejected. You can control the meaning you assign to that rejection. Apply this filter every day, to every action. You'll notice your peace expanding as your control shrinks, paradoxically. 5. Acceptance is not surrender. This is where many people misunderstand Stoicism. They think, if I accept what I can't control, I'm being passive. No. Acceptance is not passivity. It is power without illusion. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, said, "Man conquers the world by conquering himself." You are not giving up when you release control. You're choosing to stop fighting phantoms. It's not weakness. It's wisdom. 6. The archer analogy. The Stoics often used this metaphor. You are an archer. You draw the bow. You aim. You focus. You do everything right. But once the arrow leaves your fingers, the wind, the movement of the target, chance, these are no longer yours to command. You are responsible for the effort, not the outcome. So too in life. Focus on the aim. Let go of the strike. 7. Practical Stoicism, control filter exercises. Exercise 1, the daily divide. At the start of each day, write down. What is within my control today? What is not? Then let go of everything in the second list. Exercise 2, the pause practice. Whenever emotionally triggered, pause. Ask, is this in my power to change? If yes, act. If no, release. Exercise 3, the control audit. Look at major stressors in your life. Then divide them into my choices, others' choices, randomness. Focus only on your side. You'll immediately see where your energy is being wasted. 8. Case studies, lives rewritten by the Stoic divide. James Stockdale, American fighter pilot, shot down and imprisoned in Vietnam for 7 years. He practiced Epictetus in solitary confinement. He said, "I never lost faith in the end of the story, but I also confronted the most brutal facts of my current reality." He controlled his spirit, not his surroundings. Nelson Mandela, again, a man who could not control his jailers or his fate, but who mastered his own mind and emerged to forgive. Malcolm X, in prison, taught himself history and philosophy. His environment didn't change. He did. 9. Letting go is a weapon. In Stoicism, letting go is not escape, it's strategy. When you stop trying to control what you cannot, you reclaim your strength. This doesn't mean you stop acting. It means you stop expecting. Act with full power and then detach from result. You're no longer whipped by chaos. You ride above it. 10. Final thought, the mastery of division. You have 2 circles. The circle of control. The circle of concern. When you mistake one for the other, you suffer. When you respect the boundary, you silence the noise. The Stoic doesn't withdraw from life. They engage with it with precision. Like a swordsman who doesn't waste a single strike on air. Master this split and you become free. Transition tease for part 4, emotion without ownership. Now that you've mastered control, we'll enter the murky waters of emotion. In part 4, we face the storm of feeling anger, sorrow, longing, and how to let emotions pass through us without letting them own us. Keep watching. Because silence isn't numbness. It's the stillness that remains when emotion no longer drives the ship. Part 4, emotion without ownership, feeling deeply, standing firm. Introduction to Part 4. The Stoics never said, don't feel. They said, don't be ruled. This is where many fail to understand Stoicism. They confuse calm with apathy. Control with coldness. But a Stoic feels everything: heartbreak, rage, grief, and remains grounded. In this part, we'll dissect the emotional world, what it is, why it hurts, and how to experience emotions without letting them dictate your reality. You don't need to be emotionless. You need to be anchored. 1. Emotions are natural. Reaction is optional. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Today I escaped anxiety." Or no, I discarded it, because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside. You will feel things. Disappointment when plans collapse. Anger when betrayed. Sadness when someone leaves. These are not weaknesses. They're signals. But you don't build a home on a signal. You observe it. You understand it. And then, you choose what happens next. You are not your anger. You are not your pain. You are the one watching it. 2. Emotional ownership is emotional slavery. Here's the trap. He made me feel worthless. She ruined my day. That news gave me anxiety. The Stoic answer? No one can make you feel anything without your consent. Epictetus says, "It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them." If your emotions are caused by interpretation, then mastery over interpretation is the path to peace. You can feel sad without saying, "I am broken." You can feel furious without acting destructively. You can grieve without crumbling. 3. The gap between stimulus and response. This is your fortress. Between what happens to you and how you react, there is a gap. In that space lies your power. Viktor Frankl, inspired by Stoicism, wrote, "Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response." Imagine. You receive a harsh message. You pause. Breathe. Respond with clarity. Someone lies to you. You don't lash out. You gather facts. Speak when it counts. That pause. That 1 second of silence is the birthplace of strength. 4. Feel it fully. Let it go. The Stoics didn't say suppress emotion. That's a modern misreading. Suppressed emotion becomes poison. What they practiced was full experience without collapse. Seneca describes grief for a loved one. "Let tears flow of their own accord, let us not force them." The soul must be neither crushed nor hardened by emotion. Feel it. Breathe it. Acknowledge it. Then release it. Emotion is like weather. It moves in. It moves out. It only lingers when you fight it or cling to it. 5. Negative visualization, a Stoic weapon. Here's a tool the Stoics used, one that may seem dark, but is liberating. Premeditation malorum, the premeditation of evils. They would visualize the worst outcomes. Losing a job. Being insulted. Even death. Not to suffer in advance, but to deafening the fear. When the emotion arrives, it no longer shakes them. Seneca. Heroes present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand. You want to build emotional immunity? Train for it. Prepare for the pain. Then, when it comes, it finds you ready. 6. How to face emotional triggers. Step 1, name it. I feel anger. Not, I am angry. Naming creates space. Step 2, locate it. Where is it in the body? Jaw? Chest? Gut? This grounds it. Step 3, ask why. What story am I telling that creates this? Step 4, ask if it's true. Is that story a fact? Or just a fear? Step 5, respond. Don't react. Now choose your move. Not out of panic, but power. This process transforms emotion from master to messenger. 7. Examples from life, Stoic mastery in emotion. Example 1, the betrayal. A friend betrays your trust. You feel rage. You pause. You remember, he acted acor. Eight. The role of journaling in emotional mastery. Marcus Aurelius journaled every day. His meditations were never meant for anyone else. They were a conversation with himself, a way to think through emotion. Journaling does three things. It slows the mind. It separates feeling from fact. It transforms chaos into clarity. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? What triggered it? What belief sits behind it? Is that belief true? What would a wise person do next? This daily act is the forge of emotional strength. 9. Detachment is not disconnection. A Stoic doesn't avoid love, or grief, or passion. They engage fully. But they don't cling. They know that life is borrowed, not owned. And they walk with open hands. When a Stoic loves, they love deeply, but without control. When they lose, they grieve, but without collapse. This is the art, attachment without dependence. You can care, without being consumed. 10. Final word, emotion without ownership. Imagine walking through a storm. Rain lashing, thunder roaring, and you're soaked, but standing. You don't pretend the storm isn't real. You don't scream at the sky. You walk it calmly. You stay dry inside. That is Stoic emotional mastery. You are not the emotion. You are the observer. You are the architect of your reaction. You are stillness in the storm. Transition tease for Part 5, Detachment and Desire. In Part 5, we'll dive into the seductive trap of desire, how wanting can lead to weakness, and how detachment can unlock real freedom. If you've ever felt addicted to approval, success, pleasure, the next part will challenge your core. Because true peace doesn't come from getting everything you want. It comes from wanting less and owning yourself more. Part 5. You suffer because you want. Not because you lack, but because you crave. This is one of Stoicism's most jarring truths. Freedom is not the ability to pursue every desire. Freedom is the ability to walk away. In this part, we'll go deep into the structure of human desire. We'll ask, what is it that we really want? Why does wanting consume us? And how do we become masters of desire, not its slaves? Because every addiction begins with one lie. This will make me whole. And every awakening begins with one truth. I already am. 1. What is desire? And why it hurts? Desire is not just wanting something. It's believing your peace is on the other side of it. If I get that job, I'll feel worthy. If she chooses me, I'll feel loved. If I earn more, I'll finally relax. So what happens? You chase. You burn. You grasp. And every time you get what you wanted, it slips. Temporary high. Long-term hunger. Epictetus said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Desire makes you chase what you can't control. And suffering is always the bill. 2. The core Stoic idea, prefer, don't need. The Stoics didn't reject having goals or pleasures. They simply changed the relationship to them. Instead of needing, they preferred. I prefer health, but I can endure illness. I prefer success, but I won't be broken by failure. I prefer love, but I do not need it to be whole. This is radical emotional independence. Because when you don't need, you're free. And when you're free, you become powerful. 3. The trap of external validation. You're told. Be somebody. Get noticed. Prove them wrong. But the Stoic asks, to whom do you owe this performance? Seneca warned, he who is everywhere is nowhere. And Epictetus, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Chasing praise is chasing a shadow. No applause is loud enough. No admiration lasts. Until you learn to live for your own internal judgment, you are not free, you are owned. For, the hedonic treadmill, why nothing is ever enough. The more you get, the more you want. This isn't failure. It's design. The Stoics saw this cycle 2,000 years ago. You buy the new phone and within days, it's ordinary. You win the title and immediately fear losing it. You get their attention and it stops feeling special. This is the hedonic treadmill, endless wanting, endless exhaustion. Solution? Gratitude. Simplicity. And deliberate detachment from outcome. Because peace isn't in getting more. It's in needing less. 5. A more fatty, loving what is. Detachment is not apathy. It's not cold or lifeless. It's the warm, alive surrender to reality exactly as it is. Nietzsche took it further with the phrase, a more fatty love of fate. The Stoics didn't just endure life. They embraced it. They said, let it rain. Let it burn. Let it twist. I will make beauty out of this, too. What comes, comes. What stays, stays. What goes, goes. I do not wish to change the world. I wish to remain unchanged in it. This is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. 6. Real-life example. Detachment in action. The businessman who lost it all. He built a company over 15 years. It crumbled in 6 months. Most would fall into despair. But he said, I came into this world naked. I'll leave the same. Everything between is borrowed. Instead of mourning his loss, he took it as training. He simplified his life. Let go of image. Started again, wiser. That is Stoicism. He didn't fake indifference. He practiced perspective. The lover who let go without bitterness. She loved him deeply. He left. Most become bitter. Vengeful. Obsessed. She didn't. She said, I loved fully. He chose otherwise. It's not my job to hold what wants to leave. No chasing. No performing. No blame. That is Stoicism. Not avoiding love. But not needing its permanence. 7. The practice of voluntary discomfort. The Stoics didn't wait to lose something before detaching from it. They practiced it in advance. Sleeping on the floor when they had a bed. Fasting when food was abundant. Wearing coarse clothes in public. Seneca wrote, set aside a number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself, is this the condition that I feared? Why? To teach the mind. I can survive anything. I do not need to cling. That's how you become unbreakable. 8. Fame, pleasure, and luxury, a Stoic's view. To the Stoics, 3 desires were particularly dangerous. Fame, you become addicted to others' opinions. Pleasure, you chase highs instead of meaning. Luxury, you grow soft, and fear losing comfort. None of these are evil. But they are unstable. Stoicism says, enjoy without attachment. Own without being owned. Appreciate without depending. Pleasure is not the problem. Craving is. 9. Detachment is not equal to indifference. You can still love people deeply. Build great things. Strive with energy and vision. But you do it from freedom, not fear. The Stoic says, I will try my best. And I will accept the result. I will love this person. And I will release them if needed. I will build this business. And if it fails, I will not collapse. This is not indifference. This is inner liberation. 10. Final word, the art of wanting less. Seneca said, It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. You will never be at peace until you see that nothing outside you completes you. Detachment isn't about giving everything up. It's about giving up the belief that you are missing something. When you release the need, you can finally enjoy what is. Not forever. Not perfectly. But freely. Transition tease for Part 6, Adversity and the Forge of Character. So far, you've learned to face your mind, your emotions, and your desires. But now we enter the arena of real transformation, adversity. In Part 6, we'll uncover how the Stoics used hardship as fuel. How suffering, loss, and challenge are not curses, but training grounds for the soul. If life is hard, you're not being punished. You're being forged. Stay with me. We're going to turn pain into power. Part 6, Adversity and the Forge of Character. You were not born to be untouched by life. You were born to endure it, to be shaped by it, and to rise through it. Every great soul has passed through fire. But not everyone is forged, some are burned. The Stoics believed. Adversity doesn't break the man. It reveals him. The obstacle doesn't block the path. The obstacle is the path. In this part, we'll uncover how hardship reveals your strength, sharpens your clarity, builds your character, and becomes the ground for greatness if you let it. Because suffering isn't personal. It's universal. What makes it powerful is what you do with it. 1. The Stoic lens, hardship as opportunity. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, never for others to see. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is not philosophy for the classroom. This is philosophy for war, disease, betrayal, grief. When you shift your view of adversity from enemy to mentor, suffering becomes bearable and even transformative. The Stoic doesn't say why me. The Stoic says, good. Now let's see what I'm made of. 2. Pain is a mirror. You want to know who you really are? Watch yourself when everything goes wrong. Do you collapse or stay composed? Do you lash out or look inward? Do you hide, or do you stand? Most people wear a mask when life is easy. But adversity strips you bare. Seneca said, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Adversity doesn't just test you. It introduces you to yourself. 3. Real-life example, Epictetus the slave. Epictetus was born into slavery. He had no power, no wealth, and a lame leg twisted by his master. Yet he became one of the greatest Stoic teachers in history. Why? Because he realized early. He may not control his body. He may not control his master. But he does control his mind. He taught that nothing external, not even chains, can enslave the soul without permission. Your worst day? He lived it and used it. 4. The discipline of endurance. The Stoics trained for adversity like athletes train for battle. They practiced anticipation, mentally rehearsing loss or pain. Endurance, exposing themselves to discomfort. Acceptance, learning to welcome difficulty instead of fleeing it. They didn't wish for an easy life. They wished for the strength to meet a hard one well. Don't pray for things to be easier, said Epictetus. Pray to be stronger. And then act like it. 5. The gift hidden in every loss. Every time you lose a job, a person, a dream, it feels like death. But Stoicism says, Don't just count what's gone. Ask, what's being made possible now? Loss clears space. It destroys illusions. It reorders your values. It hurts. It should hurt. But that hurt is not pointless. It's the exact moment you're being reshaped if you don't run from it. 6. Turn pain into practice. The Stoics never denied pain. They just used it. Let's say you're betrayed. Practice forgiveness. You're sick. Practice patience. You're afraid. Practice courage. Whatever hits you becomes your material. You are a sculptor. Pain is your marble. Seneca again. No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity. For he is not permitted to prove himself. 7. The 3 types of adversity. Not all suffering is equal. But all types can be transformed. A. Physical adversity. Illness, injury, aging. Use it to practice endurance. Stillness. Clarity of what truly matters. B. Emotional adversity. Loss, betrayal, heartbreak. Use it to cultivate compassion, detachment, and emotional mastery. C. Existential adversity. Feeling lost. Meaningless. Alone. Use it to realign with what you can control. To strip away distraction. To seek truth, not comfort. Each pain is an invitation. Not a punishment. 8. Everyday examples, Stoicism in the wild. A single mother raising 2 kids alone. She has no safety net. No time for herself. But every day, she shows up. She says, "This is hard. But I'm harder." She trains her mind not to collapse. She doesn't beg for rescue. She becomes the rescue. That's Stoicism. A man diagnosed with cancer. He loses his strength. His future becomes uncertain. He sees friends vanish. He says, "This is my test. I will not meet it with self-pity." He meditates daily. He spends time only on what matters. He holds space for others even in his own suffering. That's Stoicism. 9. The inner fortress. The Stoics built what they called an inner citadel. A place inside that no misfortune could breach. You lose money? Still standing. You get insulted? Still centered. You face death? Still unafraid. That's the fortress. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. So train it not to run from pain, but to rise within it." 10. When you're in the fire. Right now, if you are in the middle of something crushing, a breakup, a failure, a loss, don't wait for the pain to end to find meaning. Use the pain now. Journal like Marcus. Reflect like Epictetus. Endure like Seneca. Ask yourself, what strength is this building in me? What illusion is this burning away? What kind of person do I want to be when this is over? Then become that person now. Final word, your pain is sacred. You do not have to like adversity. But you must not waste it. Because pain is a sacred fire. It can consume you. Or it can forge you. No one escapes the fire. But the Stoic walks through it differently. Not bitter. Not broken. But better. Transition tease for part 7, the Stoic mindset for modern chaos. You've walked through the fire. Now it's time to return to the world. In our final part, we bring everything together. How do you live, lead, create, and speak with Stoic clarity in the middle of the chaos of modern life? Phones. Noise. Temptation. Anger. Division. The Stoics weren't passive monks. They were warriors of the inner world who acted. In Part 7, we craft your Stoic operating system, how to live among noise and remain unmoved. Part 7, the Stoic mindset for modern chaos. 1. Mastering reaction. You can't control the world, but you can control your reaction. Train your first instinct to be pause, not panic. Breathe before replying. Observe before assuming. Question before reacting. The modern world runs on outrage. The Stoic runs on clarity. 2. Own your attention. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but he wrote daily to himself. Why? To reclaim his mind from distraction. Modern chaos isn't just noise. It's the theft of your focus. Turn off notifications. Set limits on input. Return to inner stillness daily. Your attention is your life. Spend it with intention. 3. Don't argue, embody. You won't win today's culture war with tweets. The Stoic doesn't preach, he embodies. You want to teach calm? Be calm. You want to show depth? Speak less. You want to lead? Walk the talk. Silence speaks louder when it's grounded. 4. Choose your circle. Seneca warned. Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Don't just avoid toxic people. Choose those who value depth. Challenge comfort. Live with discipline. The wrong crowd will rot your principles. The right one will sharpen your sword. 5. Daily reset. Don't carry yesterday's emotion into today. Each morning, recenter. Refocus. Realign. The Stoic strength isn't just in philosophy. It's in practice, repeated. 6. Speak less, mean more. Noise thrives on gossip, complaint, and mindless talk. The Stoic speaks only what's needed. Doesn't argue to win. Uses words like arrows, few, direct, intentional. Talk less. Do more. Let presence speak. 7. Die daily. Memento mori. Not to scare you. To wake you up. Would you scroll for an hour if today were your last? Would you hold that grudge? Would you waste time pleasing people who don't matter? Let death clarify life. Final words, leave noise, build depth. You've come this far, not by accident. Something in you seeks silence, strength, and clarity. In a world of noise, you chose a path of inner mastery. But this isn't the end. This is the threshold between passive survival and active sovereignty. If this resonated, if it struck a chord deeper than distraction, then this channel was made for you. Here, we build minds, not brands. We seek truth, not trends. We don't chase attention. We earn it, with depth. Subscribe, not to follow, but to align with a movement of minds like yours. Because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs more of what you're becoming. We'll go further, deeper, together. Subscribe now. Silence the noise. Reclaim your edge.